Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving headfirst into, well, the absolute whirlwind that is Love Island USA Season 7.
Right. And you found this great resource for us, a deep dive recap from a YouTube podcast.
Exactly. It looks perfect because it promises to, cut right through all the
Straight to the juicy bits.
Yeah, the core of what's been happening in the villa.
Okay, so our mission today is pretty clear then. We take that analysis, we break down the chaos,
Look at the relationship.
pinpoint the big personalities everyone's talking about. Think of it as like your express lane to being totally clued in.
On all the twists, the triangles, the gameplay.
All of it.
And trust us, according to this breakdown, there are more twists than a pretzel factory. Seriously.
Okay, we're pulling surprising facts, insights directly from this recap.
To get you totally up to speed. So yeah, get ready.
Let's do it.
So right off the bat, this recap, it doesn't hold back at all. It calls Season 7 wild. And honestly, based on what we're looking at, that feels like maybe an understatement.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of just constant upheaval, doesn't it?
Totally.
It highlights the core stuff driving it all. You've got relentless bombshells arriving.
Then ships just imploding, like overnight, it seems.
And couples switching partners at this, like, dizzying speed. It's hard to keep track.
And a key takeaway, something this recap really hammers home, is the feeling that the producers, they leaned hard into the chaos this year.
Oh, yeah. They even had that memorable renaming for Casa Amor.
Yes, what was it? Casa Amor.
Exactly. This analysis explicitly points out that feeling that the season was kind of designed to be messy.
Yeah.
Maybe more than usual.
And we see specific examples of this chaos that they highlighted, like unexpected recouplings that just seem to drop out of nowhere.
Right. They call out Johnny by name for one of those moments.
Yeah, I remember that bit. And what about the declarations of feelings? This breakdown talks about fake love declarations, right?
It mentions Kassy in that context, sort of questioning the sincerity behind some of those big moments.
Which is always the big question on these shows, isn't it?
Always.
Hilariously, it also points out Islanders who seem to just completely forget they were on a dating show.
Ah, who got called out for that?
Leo gets a specific mention here for actions that seems less about finding love and more about, well,
drama.
Pretty much just drama.
What's interesting, too, is how the show itself kind of winks at this. The recap notes Sarah Hyland, the host.
Oh, yeah, her commentary.
Her shady commentary, as they put it, describing her appearances as these, like, charged moments where you just know.
Someone's about to get exposed.
Exactly. It just adds another layer to everything.
Okay, so moving from the general mayhem
Took a word for it.
to the specific couples that this analysis really zeroes in on. It's almost like they put them on a spectrum.
From actually cute to
This won't last a week. Yeah.
a very necessary exercise for any Love Island viewer, let's be real.
Okay, first up, Marco and Hannah. On the surface, the recap describes them as seemingly solid since day one.
Right, the classic frontrunners vibe.
But the analysis we looked at immediately throws a little, skepticism on that perfect picture.
Yeah. How so?
It specifically questions Marco's big "I've never felt this way before" speech.
Oh, right.
After only like 12 days. It flags that as maybe a bit much. Too soon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That timeline does seem pretty fast for that level of declaration.
So it presents this viewpoint that they could genuinely be the real deal or the best actors we've seen. They definitely give off that classic Love Island love story vibe. But the recap is basically saying, hey, look closer.
It definitely makes you, as a viewer, question how much is real connection sped up by the villa and how much is just playing the game really well.
Exactly. Okay, let's dive into, oh boy, Kassy and Leo. And, the fallout.
This recap does not pull punches here. No.
No, it labels this, and I quote, the messiest love triangle of the season.
And frankly, after reading the breakdown, it's kind of hard to argue with that assessment.
It details Leo's actions in Casa Amor. Specifically points out how he tried to explore things with two girls at the same time.
Classic Casa Amor move, unfortunately.
And Kassy's reaction, when Leo walked back in with someone new, the recap calls it iconic.
Oh, yeah?
Says she looked 2 seconds from flipping a table. You can just picture it.
Totally. That energy just comes through the description. Wow.
Absolutely. And then the recap follows Kassy's next move, pairing up with Keenan.
Okay.
And this is where the skepticism from the analysis really kicks back in. It expresses some serious distrust for this new connection.
Doesn't sound like they're buying it.
Not really. It frankly calls Keenan a player.
Oof. So the suggestion is this pairing might be less about real feelings.
And more about maybe strategy
Yeah.
or just reacting to all the chaos with Leo.
Gotcha. Okay, messy indeed.
Right. Okay, another couple highlighted. Destiny and Mike. Though the analysis seems to see Destiny as potentially connecting with others, too.
Okay, so how does the recap frame Destiny?
Immediately, it describes her as playing the game. Very
Yeah,
strategic.
a game player.
Yep. It even uses her exact quote from the show, apparently. I'm here to win, not to simp.
Wow. Okay, that's direct. No messing around there.
Not at all. But then the recap also notes Mike's impact on her, mentions his puppy dog eyes.
Ha! The puppy dog eyes. A powerful weapon.
Apparently. Suggesting they might actually challenge Destiny's, seemingly ruthless strategy.
Interesting. So what's the potential endgame there, according to the recap?
What's fascinating is the idea raised that if these two somehow made it to the finals,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be presented as this big fairy tale romance, more like a testament to their strategic skills.
Like the strategic king and queen of the villa.
Exactly. That's the phrase they used.
Huh. That's a different kind of Love Island narrative.
For sure. All right, let's shift gears a bit. From the couples to the individuals who really stood out this season, according to this recap.
Okay, the big personalities, the villains and the fan faves.
So, based on this analysis, identifying the season's main villain is, well, they say it's easy.
Oh, yeah. Who gets the crown?
It's Johnny. The reasoning given, he switched partners faster than switching Netflix shows.
Ouch. Okay, that's pretty clear then. Sums up his journey quite vividly.
Doesn't it? And the recap also calls out Carmen. Says she definitely stirred the pot.
How so? What was her dynamic?
It notes that she kind of came in, stirred the pot, and then acted shocked when people called her messy.
Ah, the who me strategy.
Yeah.
A classic maneuver you sometimes see.
Totally. Now, for the flip side, who emerged as the clear fan favorite in this analysis?
Oh, this one was really clear too. Bergie. Hands down.
Bergie. Okay. And they frame his whole journey as this really compelling underdog story, right?
Absolutely. Highlighting his transformation from, like, the awkward sweetheart.
To actually getting girls, yeah.
It's presented as genuinely great character development to watch play out.
Which audiences love, right? That kind of arc.
Definitely. Seeing someone grow and kind of succeed amidst all the surrounding drama,
Yeah.
it resonates.
Okay, this next section is where the recap got a little spicy. Didn't shy away from some specific hot takes.
Or unpopular opinions, as they call them. The ones that might get people talking.
For sure. First one they shared, the opinion that Leo is actually not the worst.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Given the whole Casa Amor thing we just talked about.
Right. That feels like a scorching take, as the recap itself even puts it.
So what's the reasoning behind that? How do they justify it?
The argument provided is that, okay, yeah, he was messy, but at least he was being honest about being messy.
Ah, the transparency defense.
Hmm.
Even if the behavior isn't great.
Exactly. It's an argument prioritizing honesty, even questionable honesty. An interesting angle, you have to admit.
It is an angle. Definitely makes you think. Okay, what other hot takes?
Another bold one pulled from this analysis. Marco and Hannah are not going to win the season.
Wow, okay. That is surprising, given how solid they've seemed or how they've been portrayed.
Yeah, but the recap follows that up. It suggests a dark horse might actually take it.
Like who?
Mentions possibilities. Destiny, maybe. Or even Bergie.
Huh. Potential unexpected finalists or even winners.
It ties back to that idea, maybe strategic play or that strong character arc like Bergie's could ultimately win out over the seemingly perfect love story.
Interesting. So it's not always the day one couple that takes it home.
According to this take, nope. All right, let's wrap things up with the final predictions shared in this analysis based on everything discussed, the dynamics, the personalities. What does this recap see happening next?
Okay, predictions time. For potential winners, the recap actually picks Kassy and Keenan.
Really? After calling Keenan a player?
Yep. And the reasoning offered is that Love Island loves a messy couple.
You can't entirely argue with that logic based on past seasons. It does happen.
It makes a certain kind of chaotic sense, yeah.
Okay, what about who might be dumped next?
The analysis speculates it could be Mike, particularly, quote, if he doesn't lock it down, presumably with Destiny or someone.
Right, his connection seems a bit precarious, maybe. And next big scandal. Where's the drama coming from?
The recap points right at Carmen. Suggests she's either coming back with something or will be involved in the next major blow-up.
Ooh, the possibility of a return or maybe some tea being spilled. Always juicy.
Always lurking.
Yeah.
Other potential outcomes mentioned? Bergie making the finals.
Reinforcing that underdog story again.
Yep. And maybe, inevitably, the prediction that Johnny gets exposed again.
Again, okay.
And that we should basically brace ourselves for at least one more shocking recoupling before the end.
Never a dull moment then.
Oh,
So bringing it back to you, the listener, the core question this analysis seems to be asking all the way through is really, who is playing the game and who is actually here for love?
right. It forces you to constantly evaluate every interaction, every declaration, every tear even.
Makes you think about the strategy behind the connections just as much as, the actual feelings. And for one final piece of advice, maybe, a key takeaway from the recap's conclusion, that feels like a universal Love Island truth.
Let me guess. Casa Amor related?
You got it. Remember this. Never trust a Casa Amor flirt.
Ah, the golden rule. A lesson learned the hard way, season after season, for Islanders and viewers alike.
So true. Okay, so we've taken a pretty deep dive there into the whirlwind of Love Island USA Season 7, all through the lens of this really detailed recap.
Yeah, we've broken down the chaos, looked at the key couples, the dynamics,
Pinpointed the villains, the fan faves.
explored some spicy takes and predictions too.
Hopefully this gives you a really clear picture of the key stuff happening, the dynamics at play.
And maybe some specific things to keep an eye on as the season wraps up.
Definitely keep thinking about those core questions. Is it game or is it love? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.